Hi everyone, thanks for stopping by. So this illustration you're about to see is my February 2024 Patreon drawing challenge. I do two drawing challenges a month on Patreon, and this is to do with a colour palette that I put together. You can download the palette files as well if you're working on Photoshop or on Procreate. You can actually download the palette files and work with them. But this is the character I came up with. Now at the time I'd been looking at sort of the Japanese art of Kawaii, which is like cuteness apparently. So I've been going through a few images and just trying to get some influence based on that type and that style of artwork. And this is what I came up with. He's called Boon Bear. It was a lot of fun to do and I quite enjoyed the result. Yeah, so check it out. Okay, they're coming together, a Boon Bear. So it was a pen illustration that I photographed, took into Procreate, and then just started sketching it out. I firstly determined kind of where the shadows would be, so where the light's coming from, and then added a few more details like a satchel on his back and this cute character sticking out the back of his satchel. And again, just messing with detail, put a cap on him and a logo on the cap. I love the character throwing out those sweets or pills or whatever they are from the bag. Just a little something going on. Now this is the colour palette that I used. You get a certain amount of colours. You can add two of your own and you can use black and white. But I muted them, sort of brought them back down to pastel shades just because it suited this kind of illustration. And then building texture. It's kind of an organic process the way I work. I respond to the image and I respond to the things that I've done sort of quite naturally. Add in smaller details now, sort of graphic elements. He's got a plaster on his cheek like that and his arm. So here I just break down sort of the line element and then the shade element and then back to the colour element. And it's interesting just to see how that shading comes together. The way that I do it, sort of using black and various opacities based on where I put the shade on the actual character. So into Photoshop now. And really in Photoshop, a lot of the time when I get to Photoshop stage, I'm quite happy with the illustration. Photoshop just gives me a lot of power in terms of sort of major additions, graphic additions, edits, colour edits, and just sort of bringing it all together. Just playing with specific detail. Making sure that I'm happy with how it all looks. So using a gradient map there just to put some shade on the rock that he's standing on. Now at this point I'm just sort of experimenting. I've got a little bit stuck, and when I say stuck, kind of not in a drastic way, but I kind of experiment with what I want the background to look like, what I want it to do. And I do go through a process of building things, then taking things out, building things, taking things out, until I'm happy with what I've got. And this is where I add kind of a half-tone dot to the line part of the image. I've got a video explaining how I do this, to see if I can dig it out and put it in the top corner for you. But it just adds that bit more texture. And then I move through the process of sort of taking parts of it out where it shouldn't be, you know, like in the lighter areas of the character. But it's quite an effective detail actually. experimenting with a bit of vignetting. This I find sometimes just frames the image a little better. Just gives it a bit more atmosphere. And then a small stroke outline. This just makes the character pop a little. And it's very in keeping with that sort of urban graphic that I quite like anyway. Using a half-tone brush and putting that spotted detail and that big pink moon or whatever it is behind the character. Can be a pink moon. I think it is a pink moon. So there's the colour palette, and what I wanted to do with the colour palette is just form a big colour grid based on the actual colour palette that I'm using and use it as a graphic element in the background. Wasn't sure how it was going to turn out, but these things are always good to play with and experiment with. Doesn't take long to put together. Drag it onto the image and then sort of manipulate it into the background. And then just using a layer mask and a splat brush, just taking elements out. It's always a cathartic process, this type of thing. I like how the image emerges, and just playing around with sort of values. There you go, finished bear. And here's some colourway variations that I always do. I'm kind of getting a bit notorious for this, I think. But I love looking at different colour variations of a single image. It fascinates me. There you go, my Kawaii Boon bear. If you want to get involved at all with my drawing challenges, head over to Patreon. I've got 2 tiers, Inspire and Create, and Create is the one where you can join in with these drawing challenges each month and come up with your own versions based on some prompts. There's all sorts of other good stuff up there as well. So please, head over there and get involved. Otherwise, thanks for stopping by, really appreciate it. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you next time. Please remember to subscribe or hit the bell for updates. Like this video if you like this video, and I'll catch you next time. Take care, bye for now.